This is my reflection on our group project, which was to come up with a pamphlet that promoted road safety. One of the strategies we used when we were setting our goals was to come up with a bit of a um, mind map on different ideas that we had. So initially we thought about homelessness, road safety, and vehicle safety, but we realised that we were really passionate about these two, so we thought we'd incorporate those. So the main goal of our project um, was set by coming up with a SMART goal, and a SMART goal is really helpful for breaking down big tasks or a big goal into smaller tasks. So we used this template that we were given by our teacher, which was really helpful, and put our goal in, which was to educate people about the risks of roads and how to be safe on our roads. We then had to work out how it was going to be measurable. So how would we know whether we were making a difference? And our goal was to educate people through a brochure and posters. And then we've realised we'd have to get feedback on that as well. Is it achievable? We thought it was in the time that we had. And so this template was really helpful in working out what our main goal was and whether or not we were going to be able to achieve that. We ensured resources were used efficiently by coming up with some group role tasks. So each of us had a role within the group. So my role was the main contact person and the team leader, and my responsibilities including monitoring each member and contacting resources for information. So things like emailing teachers or emailing our local MP, which I was able to do because I was able to email more effectively. We had a timeline which we didn't really put into our presentation, which in hindsight was probably not great. We probably should have used a timeline so we knew exactly what we were doing and when we had to do it. Um, and I think if I did this again, I would definitely have a timeline in place. You can see that we each had our roles within our group around who was doing some research initially. Um, which we got lots of good information from, and but we didn't have a timeline, so we really needed to have a timeline. I guess one way we did have a timeline, which was useful, was Miss Dean and Miss Charlton created a spreadsheet for each week, and each week we were able to, I guess, tick off where we were up to, which was helpful as well. We improved our outcome by initially getting some feedback. So we got some peer feedback about our goal. We got some feedback from a teacher, and we also got some feedback from a parent and a caregiver. And getting feedback in the initial stages was really good because we used the feedback to improve our ideas. So here we had some action that we decided we were going to do based on the feedback we got, and our final decision was to minimise the information that we were going to include in the brochure and making it less wordy with more dot points and having some more graphics in there with some statistics. And we also decided to put in there that it's everybody's responsibility to be safe on the road, not just try to limit it to a particular group of people like 17 to 25-year-olds. But we wanted our brochure to be something that everyone was knowledgeable about, that it was everybody's responsibility, not just a particular age group. So the feedback was really, really helpful in refining our goal further. We also initially came up with some challenges and opportunities. So an opportunity was that I certainly got to learn more about the South Australian road rules, which is good because I'll be going for my L soon. So knowing the laws and making sure that I know when I'm on the road I have to be a safe driver was really helpful for me. We decided to create our pamphlet because it was a really good way to demonstrate our learning in a visual way, and we thought if we used a pamphlet that it would be a good way to display our information in various locations around the school. So not just in student services, but in the library. And that way people could just take a pamphlet and they would become educated about our community concern. And the reason I'm doing my reflection this way is because I'm better at speaking about what I've learnt rather than writing. So I can effectively communicate way better in talking than I can in writing. We also, here you can see that we reached out to teachers to see whether we could put the pamphlets in certain locations around the school. And that was one of my roles that I had to do within the group. I then put the brochures up in student services where I knew students were coming and going and signing in and out, and hopefully they would take the pamphlets. We also, the way we got feedback was by creating a Google survey. So you can see here we created a survey around our brochure to get some feedback around how we thought people saw the information that was in there. And you can see here that there was our results. So do you think the information was appropriate? 100% said yes. Do you think it could actually persuade people to think twice before doing something on the road? Yes. So that was really good. That was great feedback. Anything we could do to make the brochure more appealing? 50% said it looked good. 25% said less information. And 25% said more specific information. So that's really useful for feedback for us. So if we did a brochure again, we would incorporate those ideas into it. Through the projects, I learnt definitely that you have to be organised when you're working within a group, and assigning group roles is really helpful because you need to make sure that everyone's contributing in the group and it's not just left to one person. And so I feel like our group members all worked really well in conjunction with each other because we all had assigned roles and we knew what we had to do every lesson. This project definitely helps with my future because I want to end up working in further education, and I know that I'm going to have to work together with other people. So being able to plan a goal, being able to work with others is going to be really helpful in the future when I go out into the world of work.